we must walk the talk, but we are not walking the talk. So we celebrate these days, but only in name, nominal. The gender question is much wider than non-violence against the partners, women in particular. We must go beyond. We must go beyond the issue of violence. What about the rights of these women? 44 years after independence, women still, and girl children can still inherit from their father's estates in the customary context. Women are getting the raw deal on divorces, particularly women in African customary law institutions. So the law of inheritance is still disadvantaging women. We need to deal with that. If in our basic common law, the law treats very unequally complainants in rape cases, women are subjected to notorious certain requirements which you don't find in other crimes. All these inequalities must go. But the biggest form of inequality still lies from the fact that women are still third-class citizens. The Constitution says that there must be equal representation of men and women in parastatals, in boards, in cabinet, in government. But that's not the case at all. Women still occupy less than 20% of public spaces. In the economic sphere, women are still paid less than their male counterparts in Zimbabwe. So much so that women are bearing the brunt of the poverty that I've spoken of. Can you imagine that only less than 26% of women in Zimbabwe own immovable assets? 26%, only less than 26% of women own what he or she can call a house. I mean, that's just ridiculous. 44 years after after independence, and that is a reflection. That is a figure that reflects the poverty of our women. The average woman in the rural areas spends 6 hours per day looking for two things: looking for firewood and looking for water. 44 years after independence, the average woman in Zimbabwe still uses, in rural Zimbabwe, still uses the bush as a form of ablution. It affects more women than men. So we need to walk the talk by empowering women so that they are genuine players in our body politic. And I need to mention the girl child. The girl child is still a victim of child marriages. In the past 2 weeks, we have seen 9-year-olds being impregnated. Those people that are doing that need to spend the whole of their lives in Chikurupi. It's a crime. It's a big crime. Why are we still having why are we still having child marriages? Why isn't the law, despite the Constitutional Court judgment in the case of Diana Eunice Kawenda versus Minister of Justice, why has the age of sexual consent not been raised to 18? So yes, we shouldn't celebrate 16 days of activism. We should live 365 days of gender activism so that we give substance to equality, to non-violence, to an empowered women, which is not the case in Zimbabwe at the present moment.